What's going on, lads? It's Billy the Kid here, and I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for joining me for today's video. Now, today's video is going to be about Battlefield Hardline. Yes, I know I said I wouldn't play the gameplay, I wouldn't play the beta, or pick up the game for that fact. I still won't pick up the final game, but I decided, you know what, I don't want to break my own rule, which is you never judge a book by its cover. If I'm going to be praising the game or being very critical of the game, I actually have to play the game. So I'm going to be playing the beta. So I decided, you know what, I'll sign up for the beta, get my hands on it and see what it's actually like before I do anything in terms of a review or my thoughts, just to try out and see what it's like. So today's video is just going to be my thoughts on the beta of Battlefield Hardline. Let me know in the comment section down below if you played the beta and what you think of it, and what you think that is going to be the future of the Battlefield series. So let's start off with the biggest problem I find with Battlefield Hardline, and that is the people that are talking about it. Not the people per se, but I find that there's two different groups of people that are mainly talking about Battlefield Hardline. Those two groups are, on one hand, there's people praising Battlefield Hardline for being fresh for the series, for being fresh for the Battlefield series that has been, in some people's views, stagnant since the release of Battlefield 3. Because of the fact that when you think about it, Battlefield 4 is pretty much Battlefield 3 with a new engine, some new models, some new maps, some new gameplay mechanics, some new vehicles, and some new game modes. It's essentially Battlefield 3. I agree, it is a good step forward for the series. It is a nice fresh look at the series, because you really don't want the same thing again and again and again and again. Especially in a video game series like Battlefield, it's a very, very tricky, excuse me, it is a very tricky game series to keep fresh, to be innovative every title in the series. It's very hard to keep it fresh, even with new maps, new game modes, new textures, etc, etc. So I will give Visceral a thumbs up for thinking up of a way of being fresh with the series of Battlefield and adding in cops and robbers, because for some people, you know, they like cops and robbers. They like the old classic school children of game of cops and robbers. And now I'm not one of those people. I just generally don't like cops and robbers games, and that's one reason why I'm not going to be picking up Battlefield Hardline. The other group of people I've noticed talk about Battlefield Hardline are these die-hard Battlefield fans that are screaming, Battlefield Hardline's not really Battlefield. It's not Battlefield unless it's military, unless it's like World War II or Modern Warfare or Vietnam. It's not Battlefield. Well, you're right about that, lads. It is stated that Battlefield Hardline is a spin-off, so don't worry, this isn't the next Battlefield game. You're still going to get Battlefield 5 somewhere down the road, or maybe Bad Company 3, hopefully one day. So all those people screaming, it's not Battlefield, it's not Battlefield. Yeah, you're right. It's not really Battlefield, it's a spin-off. So just chill your shit. But to those people that say it's not Battlefield, it's not Battlefield, well, that's your opinion. What? It's not Battlefield because it's got cops and robbers? It's not Battlefield because, you know, it's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous statement, because it's not Battlefield because it's got cops and robbers. I can understand your point of view. You're thinking this is the new Battlefield, that they're giving up on the fact that it's going to not be, you know, military anymore. No, you're wrong, lad, you're wrong. It's still going to be military. It's still going to be Modern Warfare with jet fighters and tanks and attack helicopters and you know, use SAS-12s or frag rounds. It's still going to be all about that. So just cool your shit. You're still going to get it. And I think, you know, people are still sour from Battlefield 4's launch, and they just see this as EA just making money. And I have to accept that as well, that this is EA just trying to cash in. And that's one of the big reasons why I'm not going to be picking up Battlefield Hardline, because there's a group of people, you know, on both sides that are saying, you know, Battlefield Hardline is going to be, you know, fantastic. It's going to be great. The beta is excellent. This is, you know, you really should pick up the game. Look, it's up to your opinion whether you want to pick up the game or not from your experiences with the beta. I won't, for obvious reasons, and that obvious reason is Battlefield Hardline is essentially a DLC for Battlefield 4. let's not kid ourselves. This isn't a standalone game. No matter how many times you want to scream it's a standalone game by Visceral, this is essentially a DLC for Battlefield 4. Just look at the game. It runs on the same engine. It uses some of the same weapons. You know, I understand that they're taking it, and they are, you know, taking some elements from Battlefield 4 and putting it into this game. I accept that. Everybody does that with series like fucking Metal Gear Solid from Bad Company 2 and Bad Company and Bad Company 2 that carried on to Battlefield 3. I accept that. I understand that. But let's not kid ourselves, and let's just admit that this really is just a DLC for Battlefield 4. No matter how it looks when the game fully comes out, whenever it comes out, all the game modes and the vehicles and the maps, it really is just a DLC for Battlefield 4. That's really all it is to it. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't pick up Battlefield Hardline? Of course not. Of course not. You really should pick up Battlefield Hardline if you enjoy the game. And now I'm going to go into where the game actually does well. Here's where the game actually does do well. It's reintroducing playing the fucking objective. No matter how many games I played on Battlefield Hardline, I'd say around 80% I was actually playing with people, sometimes random, sometimes with friends, but whenever I was playing with randoms, 80% of the time, we were actually playing the objective. Now, never before in Battlefield 4's history, Battlefield 4, where I was playing 80% of the time and I was actually playing the objective, we were actually getting things done. So this is where it's going to be doing good when the game comes out. It's going to be reintroducing playing the fucking objective, playing the objective in Battlefield. And that is going to carry on to future Battlefield installments in the series, whether it be spin-offs like Hardline or in the main series like Battlefield 5 or Bad Company 3. It's going to introduce that playing the objective style. I really hope that they do this well. I mean, for the fact that in Battlefield Hardline you steal cash. Now, when you steal cash, you can use that cash to buy unlocks for your weapons, buy different gadgets like, you know, tear gas grenades, gas masks, riot shields. You don't unlock these naturally as you like kill enemies or capture objectives. You have to go out, steal the cash, drop it back in your vault, and only then at the end of the match will you get the money. So once you've done that, then you accumulate the money, then you can use that money to go ahead and buy, you know, new weapons. I believe you can buy new weapons, maybe I'm wrong, but you can definitely buy attachments for those weapons, like sights, you know, heavy barrels, flash suppressors, forward grips, laser sights. You can buy optics, you can buy gadgets, like I said, you can buy, you know, the riot gear, I believe you can buy gadgets and upgrades for your vehicles as well, so for like police vehicles and the getaway cars for the criminals and for the trucks as well. So all of this really does introduce back into the Battlefield series, whether it be the spin-off series or the main series, the PTFO aspect that has been missing since Battlefield 4. One other good point I want to talk about very quickly is whoever came up with this, God bless you. God bless you for coming up with this, and I really hope to see this introduced from now on in all Battlefield games, and hopefully they will introduce it in Battlefield 4 soon. The fact that you can take health and ammunition from your teammates. If they're nearby, if they're a person that has health or a person that has ammunition, you can just take them off them. You can just press E and take them off them and just be happy with it. No longer will you have to just sit there and spam, give me ammo, give me health, only for them to just run away. Now you can just take them off them when they're nearby and just heal yourself up or give yourself more ammo. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see this introduced. I can only hope that they're introducing this into Battlefield 4 soon, maybe with the CTE, and maybe if it just gets more, if it generates enough talk that they can introduce it into Battlefield 4 and to all future Battlefield titles. Because even though there's a PTFO aspect into Battlefield, there is of course the big problem that people will not play the way they're supposed to be played. And the biggest problem that is, you know, people playing with specific classes like medics, like support classes. If they don't do their job, it detriments to the team, and there's not really anything you can do about it because it's all up to them to do their job. So if they can't do their job, then you can't do your job in playing the objective and killing the enemy and capturing objectives, etc., etc. So this is the best way excuse me, this is the best way to get that point fixed, because that was a major point with players in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3, excuse me. So in short, that is my points in Battlefield Hardline. Yes, it is a DLC for Battlefield 4. It's essentially that. No matter how many people tell me it's a standalone game made by Visceral, no, it's a DLC. We need to admit that. This is just a DLC. This is essentially Battlefield Bad Company 2's Vietnam DLC. But they didn't try and put that out as a separate game, now did they? And one other thing I want to say is, like, everybody's wondering, what's the netcode like? What's the gun-on-gun gameplay like? It's fine. It really is okay. I haven't experienced any real bullshittery in terms of one-hit kills, in terms of I'm shooting at a guy, I'm not hitting him. No, there's really actually not a lot of that. But the game is fun. The beta is fun. I will admit that. The biggest, thumbs up from me is the beta is fun. It's fun, however, it's fun with friends. It is fun with randoms, but when you're playing with your group of friends and you're just running dudes over with a jeep, with a fucking police cruiser, you're in the police helicopter and you're telling the criminals to surrender, that is fun. I'll admit that. But we also have to admit the fact that it's just a DLC for Battlefield 4. It's a DLC with a new single player campaign with new maps, new textures, new models, new vehicles, etc., etc. And the sooner people realize that, the sooner they can come up to the conclusion of whether they want to buy a DLC for Battlefield 4 that has police versus criminals. So lads, those are my thoughts on Battlefield Hardline. It is a fun beta, I'll give it that. It's fun with friends. However, it is just a DLC for Battlefield 4. That's what I believe. You can disagree with me, you can leave it in the comment section down below. Let's get a discussion going. Lads, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like, leave your feedback in the comment section down below. Subscribe for more if you're new. And I'll see you again, lads, and thank you again for watching.